Violence doesn't always have to be a bad thing. You know, aggression doesn't always have to be viewed as something that needs to be held back.
My name is Shaquan Moore. I'm 23. I'm a professional MMA fighter. I've been fighting for about 4 years, and I spent about a year of my teenage years in foster care. I feel like my anger definitely helps me in my career. I'm able to turn it on and off like a switch. Everybody, like you just said, you see me and, you know, I come off as a gentleman, but, you know, if we're scheduled and we sign a contract, we're scheduled to set a match, you don't know that guy. You don't know a gentleman. You know, I've had a lot of people look me in the face and tell me that I wasn't going to be anything, that, you know, I had no future, I wasn't going anywhere, and there was no reason for anybody to put effort into me in anything. And I've had people close to me say that, and it sucks to hear it, but you know what? It kept me strong. It was the fuel in my rockets, you know what I mean? Like, that was it.
Shaquan knew what he wanted from the get-go. He walked into that gym. He had already signed himself out for a fight, and it was like 3 months away. The owner of the gym, Bobby, said, "You can't take this fight." He goes, "I'm not going to allow you to take this fight. You're new. You don't know anything." So Shaquan said to him, "Then teach me." He said, "You got 3 months. Teach me, because I am not backing down from this fight." Shaquan stepped into that ring for the first time and beat his opponent.
What really motivated me to go through with my life choices proving people wrong. I had a very rough childhood, and not everybody always made the right decisions by me, and you know what I mean? I don't blame anybody, and I wouldn't change a thing if I had a chance to about the way I was raised. I'd go through every scenario, every teardrop, every ass whooping, you know what I mean? It made me who I am today.
Shaquan's always had the fighter instinct in him, and it was always, you know, just in his nature to always fight, whether it's, you know, for himself, for his family, or, you know, just for the underdog.
The more difficult issues in my childhood was more of the abuse, and not really emotional abuse, because I think emotionally, as a kid, I was always different than most kids. I'm just thicker skin. I was just born with it. It was what it was, you know what I mean?
There was a time in Shaquan's life where he wasn't living with me, and that was a rough time for them and for me. I was going through a lot, you know, and I didn't know how to be a mom. I didn't know, honestly, how to function, you know, in a quote-unquote normal environment, you could say, or, you know, I didn't know what my normal was, you could say.
When I think about it now, I can't think back to when it really started. I don't even really know why me and my brother was originally left with my grandmother.
My parents gave me a choice. Either I go and take my kids with me, or I let them stay and I go. And because of my experience in the system in general, I didn't think it was smart for me to take my kids. So I left Shaquan and Tyler with my adoptive parents.
Where I really remember the abuse to be beginning was actually when me and my brother were put back with my mother permanently. I guess there was some work done by her. We were spending some time talking to our grandmother, saying that, you know, we think it's time. Me and Tyler wanted our mom. My mom, I guess, was kind of moving up and, you know, getting her stuff together slightly. So the courts were saying, okay, maybe it's time to start reintegrating the family. My grandmother signed us back over to my mom, and me and my brother moved into a trailer in Deposit, New York, upstate, with my mother for what seems like the longest 2 years of my life.
Shaquan and I had an argument, more so than a conversation, about his feelings on how I raised him. and how I treated them.
As I said, my mom had a lot of mental issues, and she didn't always know how to where or how to place her anger. And a lot of times me and my brothers got the blunt of that. They wind up just being two 9-year-olds stuck in a house with like a berserker.
It opened my eyes because I guess as a mom, you don't want to believe that your children have animosity or hate, contempt, any bad feelings, you know, towards you. So when your child says them to you, like, you know, you did this and I still feel this way and I still feel that way, it's humbling. It's raw. It hurts.
I feel like we all thought she was good. You know, we were visiting for a while. My grandmother was visiting for a while. The courts were visiting for a while. We all thought she was good, and we were pretty wrong. I think she was a lot darker then than she is even now.
The day that he was born, she handed him to me and said that I need you to help me keep him safe. It's keeping him and his brothers and sisters safe, and sometimes it's from her. I can't even imagine the pain, the internal pain, because Shaquan can very easily mask a lot of his pain and his emotion, but of having to choose between making decisions that are best for his siblings against his mother. He went to court and literally testified in court about all the abuse and neglect and things that him and his siblings went through, and not because he was angry at his mother or he wanted to get even with his mother or because he hated his mother. It was because he didn't want his younger siblings to have to be there.
No matter, you know, how I could, you know, sit and talk about it and work through it on my own, my kids have to work through it. So I just try to give them their space, honestly, and let him come to me, you know, and just be here when he does.
I believe that it truly is part of Shaquan's personality, because I believe, and even if he doesn't believe it, I believe that it affects everything he does.
Even though I've learned the things that I've done weren't intentional and malicious, they hurt and they were lasting for my kids. And that was their reality.
I don't see my personality as a conflict as far as my career choice. I've always, even with all the anger, I've had two mood sets. I mean, the smiling or I'm mad, you know what I mean? I really don't do the in-betweens. I think because of my upbringing, I don't really get sad. I don't think it's emotionally possible for me. I don't cry much, you know what I mean? And I think that was always an issue too, was that there was really no in between. So I really try to go through everyday life just staying cool and level-headed, because there's only one other option for me, honestly. And even to this day, it's still hard for me not to always go and choose that other option.
Just understand that he has a right to feel all the feelings that he's feeling, and just hopefully him and I can come to a place where he can understand me more and where I came from and where I'm coming from, and forgive me, and then we can, you know, just have a better relationship.
I take my fighting very seriously. I don't just consider myself a fighter, I also consider myself a martial artist. That entails to me that I have a responsibility to pass on my knowledge. I have a responsibility to not only embrace my past, but share that with people. Share how the anger, the violence, it influenced me, how it helped keep me strong when times were rough, how it might have hurt me, but ultimately I was able to harness it and, you know, use it for good.